Octopath Traveler 0 has a fair number of powerful items, powerful characters, and hidden weapons, scattered all over the continent of Orstera. Now, some of these aren't available until the endgame, but for others, you can get them a little bit early by being cheeky and sneaking off to, well, high-level areas, but hey, you don't have to participate in combat, so that may not matter. Now, I already covered the sneaking off portion in another video. I'll link it up in the card and down below. You can watch it after this. But if you want to know where to get all of these things, including the ones that you have to wait till later for, that's what this video is about. So, I'm going to go over the letter fragments, how to get all of them, including the one that you may have quote-unquote missed if you picked it as a belonging in the beginning. This unlocks Isla the New Cat. Second of all, how to get all the Crested keys, which lead to 8 sacred treasures, legendary weapons. Third of all, the forbidden weapons. Some of these you can get early, some you have to wait. And last but not least, the battle-tested weapons. Also some of the best weapons in the game, but for a good few, you're going to have to take on powerful level 60 opponents, so you're not going to be getting them until quite a bit later. Or, if you cheese, once you have a powerful enough party. Either way, that's a plan, so let's get into things, starting with the letter fragments. The first letter fragment you're able to find is a belonging. You can take it here. If you don't, it is not missable, don't worry, but it is a pain to track down. So, I recommend that you take it as one of your belongings. But I suspect if you're here watching this video, you're looking for the other letter fragment, the one that's found in the Golden Palace. This is the dungeon where you completed Bestower of Wealth Chapter 3. So, starting from the Golden Palace middle floor, head over to the right side of the zone, jump down here, and then take the sandfall on the far right. From here, you can go straight down and to the left, which takes you to the next floor. Once you reach the lower floor, simply head straight, at least assuming you've already completed the quest and done all the puzzles. This allows you to access the Silver Spring, and from what I can tell, it should be somewhere over here. Unfortunately, I did choose this as my belonging, so I can't 100% confirm, but I've seen Reddit posts, I've seen guides, I am fairly sure this is where it is. If it isn't, please comment down below, and I will pin that comment, and if you look here and you don't find it, or if you just want to check the pinned comment, because I will have the location of a pinned comment. I'm sure someone will find it for sure. But luckily, the other fragments are much easier to find. The next of which you probably found by accident when you went to the library to talk to Alexia, because it's just right there, hanging out among the bookshelves. If you don't know where the library is, head to the city of Theatropolis and follow the path all the way to the end. The third is in Waterpool Caves in the Clearbook region. The game sends you to this area during Master of All Chapter 3, but you should be able to head there earlier if you want to explore the Riverlands. As soon as you enter the cave, you should see a little blue glow. Simply head through up to the north and west, make your way around, and you should be able to find the third letter fragment without too many issues. The fourth letter fragment is located on the path to Herminia's Manse, which sounds simple, except it's not, because you have to fully progress the Wishvale storyline and unlock the arena. This will then give you a list of elite monsters for you to track down, capture, and battle in the arena. And the one you're looking for is the man-eating Flora, located on the path to Herminia's Manse. Defeat the elite, then collect your letter fragment. Fair warning, this is going to be easier said than done, unless your team is in the level 40 to 50 range, or you've grabbed some overpowered weapons, which I also cover in this video. Then, for the final letter fragment, head to Atlas Dam, which is to the west of Theatropolis. This is another one that's a little trickier than it looks, because you need to progress Wishvale until you complete Chapter 5 and unlock the Sacred Flame Dais. Then, you need an Azure Flamestone to purchase the Animal Whisperer perk, which, if you already used your first Flamestone on fast travel, you'll need to continue to progress and find the other Flamestones. P.S. One of the Flamestones is located in the very same dungeon where I mentioned you can get the first letter fragment. So, you can always pick that one up and unlock Animal Whisperer. Once you do, head over to Atlas Dam and entreat the Cat of Graceful Bearing, who's right outside the tavern. This will give you your fifth, and if you've been following this guide in order, final letter fragment.
I'll take it.
Congratulations, your invitation to the Isle of the Sages is now complete. Now, to get to the Isle of the Sages, you need to start in Rippletide and sail this way and down. There's going to be a gigantic rock maze that you can make your way through, and then you find the Isle of Sages here. From here, make your way through the island until you reach the end. This is where the Kate Sage Isla does his research. Simply speak to him, have a short conversation, say yes when you're asked if you want him to join you, and congratulations, you have yourself a nuke cat. But what is a nuke cat? Well, for that, I'm going to have to add Isla to my party and get in combat real quick. So, Isla has some unusual abilities, the first of which is Arcane Comet. This skill deals significant amounts of damage if used from the back row, and when combined with his passive that takes AoE skills, makes him single target, and magnifies the damage, it can do a lot. So this is going to be a 1 BP boost from the back row with no attack buff. Casual 8,700 damage non-crit. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, non-crit? What do you mean? It's elemental damage. That doesn't crit. Ah, but here's the thing. The nuke cat can crit with elemental damage. In addition, Isla has Fleeting Feline, which is the ability to dodge physical attacks. Very nice for dealing with annoying enemies that like to hit cats. Quite rude of them. Promote, which gives elemental attack and evasion for the entire front row. And Curl Up, which restores Isla's HP and SP. Very important, especially when you start using his ultimate. What is his ultimate? Ulta Meow, where he uses all of his SP, meaning yes, equipping gear that increases SP means more damage, to deal non-elemental damage to all foes. And yes, the damage scales, so it gets pretty darn nice. Easy 10,000, I forgot to put the limit break on my character. Would have definitely hit harder if I remembered that. And so yeah, that's Isla. Because of Sage's wisdom, his stuff can also crit, and because of sheer focus, his spells get focused on a single target for even more damage. One note, it is very tempting to immediately replace your Scholar with Isla. Don't do that. Your Scholar is very, very good at using elemental damage to break enemies, and also dealing AoE damage. Isla is for when the enemy is already broken, to delete them from existence. So, replace another damage dealer, keep your Scholar around, you need them for breaks. And speaking of keeping things around, based on the statistics on my last video, only 3% of you are subscribed. So, if you found this helpful so far, if you want to see more stuff on Octopath Traveler 0 and all the other games I'm playing, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Next up, the 8 Crested Keys, which you need to complete the 8 Sacred Treasures quest and obtain yourself some legendary weapons. The first is offered to you as a belonging at the very start of the game. This is what I did. But, if you don't do that, you can head over to the Serpent's Burrow near Theatropolis in the Flatlands region, and you can find the Dagger Crested Key here. I don't have the exact location because, again, I selected it, but this is where it is, and it's a low-level dungeon, so it should be very easy. After that, to continue the quest, make your way over to Valor. This is where you'll start by speaking to the bard in the tavern, and begin Viator's questline. See, Viator has the Sword Crested Key, and his fate intersects with these legendary treasures, so he's more than happy to tag along to find out what's up. 2 keys down and you've barely started. This is going to be easy, right? Well, it gets a little more complicated from here, as the next key location is much further, being found in Victor's Hollow, which is roughly a level 30 zone, so you're going to be playing like half the game to get here, unless you cheat and, slide over early. You can check out my video on how to get forbidden weapons if you're interested in doing that. So, once you reach Valor, you can get the Axe Key. It's found on this guy right here. Unfortunately, he's wealth-based, so you're going to have to buy it. Costs 30,000 leaves, and remember, you can haggle if you want a discount. Next is the Fan-Crested Key, located in Sephartalgia. So, head over to the inn. Right outside, you've got this guy. He is the mystery-chasing explorer, and you can entreat him for the Crested Key. Might take a little bit of time to get here, but at least it didn't cost you any money. For the Spear-Crested Key, head to the Isle in the Outer Sea East. This is a level 50 location, so the enemies could be quite dangerous. You technically don't have to fight any of them to get the key, though. Just head up, and a little bit before the elite, you should find it on the ground. While you're exploring the Outer Sea, you'll probably come across the city of Grandport. From here, you can head all the way through the city, and then enter the Grandport markets, and from there head north until you see a large arena. Once you get here, take a right, speak to this shady-looking guy. This is the Harbor Black Market Merchant, and he has the key engraved with a crest of a staff. He also has the Forbidden Great Shield if you need that. Alright, 6 down, 2 to go. For the next one, you need to progress the story until you reach Bestower of Power Chapter 1. This will take you to the East Siflo Riverbanks, where you can proceed through the zone until you find a mysterious treasure chest just across a bridge. And this is where you find the Bow Crested Key. Last but not least is the Tome Crested Key, which can be found in the sweltering cave off of Barricane Pass. As far as I know, there is not a specific quest requirement to get this key. You don't have to actually get access to Barricane, just go into the cave, make your way through. There are level 45 enemies, so you need to be able to either take those on or dodge them. And about the middle of the zone, you will find a chest, open the chest, and you will find your 8th key. Congratulations, you now have all of the keys. And where do you take them? To the Isle of Heroes Past. This is in the northern region of the Outer Sea, where you'll see this tower. You open the door. Again, you need to have the keys to open the door. Enter the spooky green flame to be teleported to the roof. And as soon as you step forwards, you will face a new challenge. This is the Warbringer's Phantom, and she's a level 60 super boss. She has about 200,000 health and 20 shield points to start. When I fought her, her initial weaknesses were sword, axe, fan, fire, and lightning. And several times when I restarted a fight, she seemed to have these at the beginning. However, her exact weaknesses depend on the weapons she equips, so they could change randomly and may not match with this 100%. I honestly had a lot of trouble with this fight, because she has incredible damage output, and as the fight progresses, she starts taking triple turns. So, the best advice that I can give: focus on setting up for a perfect break. Get her shields low, try to keep her health high while you do. Make sure everyone is super topped off, you have some sort of party buff to increase everyone's defense to keep them alive. Then, right before you break, buff everyone's attack, debuff her defenses. And then simply unload. She only has 200,000 health, which in the grand scheme of things is not that much, especially when ultimates start hitting for like 40,000-50,000 each. You should get at least one ultimate from 4 party members, so that's going to be most of, if not all of your health, and as she's recovering, you can usually finish her off. Now, if you're still struggling, I've got a couple options. First, you could use the Shield of Hope, Fen's ultimate. This gives everyone a damage reduction, which should help with your survivability. Alternatively, you can do what I did, and take Ophelia. She's a cleric, which means she provides healing, but more importantly, she has Revive. This revives all allies. In addition, she has Divine Protection, which nullifies damage from physical attacks 1 time. Last but not least, in fact, very importantly, she has Saving Grace, which gives her the ability to be healed above her max health. So what you do, try to cast her ultimate right near the start of a fight. This provides some damage reduction and gives Ophelia the nullification stack. Then, make sure to heal her enough that Saving Grace gives her a ton of health. This way she won't get killed even if she is targeted. Keep her in the back row, and if your party is wiped, cast Revive. Once you cast Revive, everyone else is back. Heal Ophelia again to increase her health if needed. Make sure to debuff the boss's attack, and you should be okay. That's what I did, and I didn't even have to use any Almighty Olives. And so, once you do, you get some powerful items, like the Stormblade, which has high Fizz attack, provides Fizz defense, and allows you to attack 1 additional time. This is especially good on any character who's going to be attacking constantly. The Tempest Spear has high Fizz attack and speed, and gives the user a chance to raise the potency of their Fizz attacks. It's especially good with characters who have multi-hit strikes. The Deathclaw Dagger has a small chance to paralyze targets. Pretty darn good because paralyzed enemies don't get to act. The Spirit Axe raises the potency of all elemental attacks. There aren't that many elemental axe users in the game, but you can always cross-class because it provides more than enough elemental attack to enable this. The Moonlit Bow has great stats, and it can reduce enemy speed. Reducing speed means you get to go first, which is always a good thing. The Staff of Discipline provides very high elemental attack, restores a little bit of SP every turn, and has decent Fizz attack to boot. In other words, it's just a good all-round staff, though may not be the best if you're going for a more specialized build. The Solaris Tome has huge elemental attack, and it reduces SP costs by 25%, which is very good for SP inefficient characters spamming high-cost spells. And last but not least, the Evanfall Fan reduces target's elemental defense, has good phys attack, and has good elemental attack. Pretty much everything you'd want in a weapon. So those are all of the legendary treasures, which you can earn after you're able to defeat the Warbringer's Phantom. Next up we have the Forbidden Weapons. These are interesting because for a lot of them, there's technically nothing stopping you from getting the weapon at the very start of a game as soon as you've finished the prologue. Well, I guess the thing stopping you is high-level annoying enemies, but you can just run past those. More about that in a bit. And so again, I'm going to go through each of these, starting with the ones that don't have specific requirements to my knowledge, and moving on to the ones that I know do. The first of which is found in Flamesgrace, a city that is somewhat near Emberglow. And after heading into the city, just go up to the square, and here you go, the Muttering Codger. You can entreat the Forbidden Tome. It has an impressive elemental attack, and the downside is an attack effect that has a chance to raise the target's elemental attack. But most of the time you're going to be casting with this, not attacking directly, so it's not really a big deal. The next is found in Victor's Hollow Old Quarter. Make your way all the way through the zone, following the road to its very end. Here you'll see an old man with a couple of children. He is the old storyteller, and he carries the Forbidden Greatbow. Again, you can entreat. This weapon has impressive physical and elemental attack, but comes with a nasty -100 speed. The best way to deal with this is, after you get it in the Wishvale shop, equip Blessing of Disguise, because that way it gives you 350 phys attack, 350 elemental attack, and plus 100 speed, making it one of the best weapons in the game if the speed is valuable. Then for the Forbidden Dagger, head over to Suffratalgia. Travel down the stairs, and towards the southern portion of the city. About the middle south portion, you'll find a house. Head in, and speak to the woman. She is the taciturn housewife, and she is selling the Forbidden Dagger for 120,000 leaves, though you can haggle her down to 75. It has decent stats, though it's primarily weighted towards physical attack, and it has the reduction in potency for fire and dark-based attacks as its downside, meaning certain characters won't do super well with it. Specifically fire and dark-based casters. The only one I can think of off the top of my head, though, is Primrose, so give this to pretty much anyone else. Next, there's the Forbidden Fan, which is found in Atlasdam, which is to the west of Theatropolis. After entering the city, head straight down, enter the house, here you go. The once famous actress. You can entreat her to get the Forbidden Fan, which is again made for physical attacks, not spellcasting. And you even get the attack effect of attacking an additional time, so 2 attacks without any BP spent, which is quite good for breaking. Now, to my knowledge, there's no strict requirements in terms of quests or progression to get any of these 3 items. There are 2 that I've tested. I confirmed 100% you can get the Tome and Bow early. I suspect you can also get the Dagger and Fan, though I haven't 100% confirmed it. If you want to know more about that, I have a dedicated video walking through the zones, talking about things and much more. I'll link that up in the card and down below. Now from here things get a little trickier because, as far as I know, all of the remaining forbidden weapons have some sort of quest state requirement, meaning you'll have to progress the story. I'll try to include all of them. You might be able to get it earlier, but this is the earliest I was able to find it. So for the first one, you will need the ship, the Queen Orsa. This is a side quest fairly early on in the game. Then sail your ship to the east through the outer sea until you reach Grandport. Once you arrive, head all the way through the city so that you can enter the Grandport Market, and then head all the way north through the Grandport Market until you get to the arena. Here we are. This is where we can find this guy, the Sea-Gazing Greybeard, who holds the Forbidden Spear, and he is more than happy to sell it to us for a price. What's that price? Well, it's 130,000 leaves, so you can talk him down to 79. This is a quite pricey weapon, and also, it has a huge speed penalty, so again, use Blessing of Disguise to reverse that. Now, while you're here, head all the way across, right over to where I'm standing. There is no NPC here. That is because I already interacted with the NPC and invited them to Wishvale, so they no longer appear here, which is a little bit unfortunate. But this is where you can find the Harbor Black Market Merchant. You can entreat him for the Forbidden Shield, and by the way, if you don't have it already, pick up the Staff Crested key as well. Next up, we're off to Donetsk. As far as I know, this doesn't open up until you start the Bestower of Power storyline and advance it sufficiently. But once you get here, head into the tavern. Talk to this guy, the Doddering Mercenary. He will allow you to purchase the Forbidden Axe for 120,000 leaves. Again, you can haggle him down to 75. Then for the Forbidden Staff, you need to go to the fiery land of Barricane. When you first arrive here, nobody will talk to you. You need to advance the Bestower of Fame questline until the residents are willing to talk, at which point, come find the village chief right here and entreat them for the Forbidden Staff. Again, lots of negatives, which you can flip around if you use Blessing in Disguise. Oh, and grab the SP Recovery Mastery while you're here, because might as well. And last but not least, the Forbidden Blade, which took me forever to track down, because it is in the Castle Edoras area, which didn't open up for me until I was on Bestower of All, which is basically the final series of quests in the game. Once you get to the throne room, head over to the left, and you can find the Edoras Minister, who has the Forbidden Blade. It has good speed, good phys attack, but it will sometimes raise enemy phys attack, which is slightly unfortunate. But hey, now that you have it, your Forbidden Weapon collection is complete, and you can start slicing things to pieces with the most uncomfortable cut. And you can start using them to slice your enemies to pieces if you haven't already been doing so. Next we have the battle-tested weapons. These are found throughout the world, but you obtain all of them the same way, by contending with a level 60 NPC. They all have two different weaknesses, and several of them are quite tough in battle. For example, in the footage right now, you can see me taking on the powerful Pauper. We'll get to him very shortly. But first, we're going to start in Theatropolis. Basically, I'm going to go in the low-level zones first and work my way through the map. Though you're probably going to be a much higher level before you actually take on these battles, because if you're a low level, you're just going to get smashed. Now in Theatropolis, we just head all the way through the city. And at the end of the road, enter the library. Go straight, and here you go. The Master of Books, who you can contend with for the Battle-Worn Tome, one of the most powerful caster weapons in the game, because it raises the potency of all elemental attacks. His weaknesses are Fan and Lightning, so prepare your party accordingly. Then for the battle-tested bow, we're off to Emberglow East, where we again head almost completely through the city. Except this time, you want to turn south here and head to the lake that's frozen at the bottom of the zone, where you can find the Tottering Old Man. Don't let his age fool you, he is carrying the battle-tested bow, and he absolutely knows how to use it. This weapon has a chance to reduce the target's physical defense, which is quite nice when combined with multi-hit attacks like Rain of Arrows. Then, for the third weapon, the battle-tested axe, begin on the Velour Main Boulevard. Head down the stairs and immediately take a right into a small cutoff area where you'll see a man looking at a squirrel. That man is the Great Architect. He carries the battle-tested axe. In my opinion, this is the easiest of all the fights, based solely on the fact that my party was like level 30-something when I was actually able to beat it, though I did have some forbidden weapons. His weaknesses are bow and fire, which means, yes, you can get a lot of multi-hit attacks and break his shields, which is how I was able to do it. After that, travel to the coastal city of Rippletide, and proceed through towards the east. Now, at the very end of the city is Tressa's family. You're going to want to stop at the house right before it. Head inside, and you can find the energetic old woman carrying the battle-tested spear. This is one of the fights that I struggled with a little bit, in part because she's weak to Tome and Wind, two elements that aren't particularly great at multi-hit, also because she hits very hard. Next up, you can find the dagger in the Crag Spear slums. Begin heading towards the lower portion of the zone. Then head east, don't take the little hook, and you can find this old man right here. He is the powerful Pauper. Contend with him to earn the battle-tested dagger. He's weak to sword and lightning, and I'd say this is another fight that, if you're feeling feisty and you set up your team correctly, possibly using Fen for damage reduction, you might be able to take him on early. For the battle-tested staff, teleport to Clearbrook, and then head all the way through the zone to the graveyard at the end. Now, towards the left side, you can find this woman here. She is the Reflective Grandma, and she is carrying the battle-tested staff, which has a very impressive amount of elemental attack. Her weaknesses are Dagger and Darkness. For the penultimate weapon, teleport to Sunshade, then take a left. From here, head all the way up to the end of the path. You'll see a dancer there, specifically the Sandcat Dancer. And she has the battle-tested fan. It boasts impressive physical and elemental attack, with a small chance to reduce the target's evasion. On one hand, her weaknesses are Axe and Ice, which makes it somewhat easy to do good damage to her. On the other hand, she hits quite hard. Now, last but not least, in the Shepherd's Rock Castle Square, you can find the battle-tested blade. Head up to the save point, head over to the right, and here you can find the former warrior, who carries the battle-tested blade. This is the fight that I found the most difficult personally. She is a powerful attacker. Her weaknesses are polearm and ice, so be sure to bring lots of characters with multi-hit polearm attacks, such as Ulbrich. And so that's how you find all of the battle-tested weapons. But you might have noticed you didn't get the achievement for completing it. Why is that? Well, because there's one more battle-tested item, the shield, and it's rather difficult to get because it's sort of hidden. See, instead of going to a location and fighting an NPC, you have to go to Wishvale, progress the Wishvale story until you get access to the shop, then invite specific NPCs to your town, one of them being the Harbor Black Market Merchant, who can be found in Grandport right before the arena. Then, you assign him to the shop, where he will open up a special list of trade goods. Let's go here. Let's go here, and as you can see, the backdoor trade goods add the Soul Glaive, battle-tested shield, that's the item you want here, Blessed Blazon, which does provide an impressive amount of defense, the Darkness multi-hit spell, an Almighty Olive, limited stock of those, and the Supporting Strikes Mastery, which is pretty darn good on a character where you have them in the back row. Just keep in mind this does bump the price of goods, so don't leave it on by accident. And so with that, not only should you have all the battle-tested items, but you should also have your achievement. Congratulations and good luck in your battles. And with that, congratulations, you should have everything. After collecting all 5 letter fragments, you got Isla. Then, you got the 8 Crested keys, which led to a very powerful boss fight. Might have died a few times, I know I definitely did. But, ultimately this led to the 8 Sacred Legendary weapons. Then, you collected the Forbidden and Battle-Tested weapons, rounding out the item sets with a shield in both cases. On one hand, yes, it's a lot of stuff to do. On the other hand, you get a lot of really powerful weapons. I ended up doing this before I beat Bestower of All, so I was in a very good spot for finishing the game. Then again, maybe you're still early game, in which case I recommend you check out my guide on how to get the powerful Forbidden weapons early. It doesn't cover all of them, just the ones you can grab without quest requirements. On the other hand, if you're looking for what characters to use, check out the best early and mid-game characters. Also, if you want to see my thoughts on all the characters, including all the late-game stuff that you get from Bestower of All, well, get subscribed because I'm going to be making a character tier list sometime in the near future. Not exactly sure when it's going to come out, because I still need to do some testing, then some editing, but it'll be sometime soon. But I guess more about that in the full video. If you want more stuff from me, go ahead and check out my Patreon, link down below. And with that, thanks again for watching to the end. I'll see you in the next one.